Hi, welcome along to AFTV. So the first game is out of the way. Brentford 2, Arsenal 0. A defeat on the opening day of the season for Arsenal. And what can I say? Going to take a look at the 5 things that I learned from that performance by Arsenal at Brentford. First of all, congratulations to Brentford. They deserve to win the game. They were the better team. They came up with a plan for Arsenal. You know, I've watched Brentford quite a lot when they were in the Championship, and they're a very good ball-playing team. You know, move the ball well. You know, good team. But in the game against Arsenal, they switched their tactics up. They went very, very direct. Hit Ivan Toney, the big centre forward. Won all the second balls, literally. Did us with set pieces, long throws. They were just commanding in the team, commanding in the game, should I say. And Arsenal were very, very poor on the night. Despite opening 10 minutes, I thought Arsenal got off to a good start, lots of possession. But after that, very poor, still lots of possession, but we just did not do anything with the ball. And the first thing that I learned was that Arsenal were not prepared for that game. They weren't prepared for what Brentford were going to do, and they weren't prepared on the pitch. We've had all summer to get certain signings in. There's certain key signings at Arsenal that I've always felt that we needed. We needed a creative midfielder. We didn't get that. We had zero creativity yesterday. Emile Smith-Rowe, who's playing at number 10, is a brilliant player. I think our best player in that game. When he got the ball, you sense something could happen. But Emile Smith-Rowe is not a creative player. He's not the sort of player who's going to play lots of through balls. He's not a Fabregas. He's not that type of player. That's the type of player we need. We didn't get that player, right? We're after that type of player now. We're looking at Odegaard. We're looking at Awar. But why have we not treated that as a priority? It was a priority at the start of the season because we were at the start of the window, should I say, because we were at that time looking at trying to sign Buendia, didn't get him, lost out to Aston Villa. And then after that, we just sat back. There's been rumours about Maddison. There's been rumours about this, but didn't get no one in. And we paid the price in the opening game because there was a lack of creativity. The other thing that we could see that, you know, Balogun, who played, he wasn't quite ready for the game. It wasn't his fault. He was thrown into the deep end. You know, we had Martinelli, who's only just come back from the Olympics, remember, right? This guy really should be on holiday. He shouldn't even be playing. But he had to come straight back in. You could see him getting visibly tired towards the end. He's just had to come all the way back from Japan. There were key players missing, we knew, in Aubameyang, in Lacazette, in Thomas Partey, Gabriel at the back. You know, it showed the lack of quality that we had on the pitch. But even so, not prepared for the opening game of the season. A lot of the mistakes that we saw, we've been watching them in the pre-season games. You know, in the pre-season games, we've been poor at set pieces. We didn't address that. We didn't deal with that. And it was a very, very poor performance on the pitch. And a lot of that was to do with the fact that we were not prepared, which is unforgivable for me. We were not prepared for that first game, hence why you saw the manager coming out and apologising. Second thing we learned was that it was a very tough night for Ben White. Ben White, big signing, £50 million. It was a bit of a baptism of fire for him, you know. He was up against Ivan Toney. You know, Ivan Toney really stuck it on him, you know what I mean? He was really physical, really rough. I think, you know, I can't really remember Ben White really winning any of the duels against him. Now, it's all right being a great player at progressing it out and playing out from the back. But another thing you're going to have to deal with in the Premier League a lot is big physical strikers. You know, they've got them all over the place. Chris Wood at Burnley. He's going to be facing one of the best, if not the best, physical striker in the world next week in Lukaku. Ben White, you're going to have to get better at this. I'm not going to go in too hard. It's his first game. He's still getting used to his new teammates, etc. But it was a really tough game for him. He did try and progress the ball out from the back a few times, but his passes fell a bit short. Just wasn't generally a great night for him. You know, it wasn't his fault on any of the goals or anything, but just not generally a fantastic debut for Ben White, who was the big money signing. £50 million. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him. Throughout this season. Every time he plays, people are going to be looking at it and saying 50 million quid. And I noticed that he picked up a lot of criticism from Jamie Carragher, from Gary Neville on the coverage on Sky. So Ben White, tough night for him. And he will get better, but it was a tough night for him. It was also a tough night for Leno in goal. It's another thing we learned. We have a problem at the moment in the goalkeeping area. Leno seems to have gone backwards. You know, he's always kind of had a problem with distribution. We saw it again yesterday. The distribution was poor. Just actually, his all-round keeping was poor. I felt the first goal, he could have done better. And you get beaten at your near post. I know the shot was hit with a lot of power, but I think a keeper of his quality should be saving that. We saw David Raya later on in the game pull off a brilliant save from Pepe, which, you know, he got down really quickly. Whereas in Leno's case, he took too long to get down. All right, you might argue he was a bit unsighted, and just was generally poor in that first goal. And then on the second goal, all right, there might be a little foul in there, but again, command your box. He didn't command his box yesterday. Again, he seemed to be targeted by Brentford. As I said, they went aerial. They got things in underneath him. They tried to rough him up, and it worked. And Bernd Leno has to fix up this season because he's not been great in recent times. Also, the other thing to go with that is the fact that we don't have a proper backup goalkeeper to be pushing him. You know, there's nobody you could even say, all right, you know what, Leno's having a tough time of it. Let's drop him out for a few games and let's bring in. You get my meaning? We need to sign someone. Again, that goes back to us not being prepared. We should have had that keeper in place. But yeah, Leno, he needs to fix up and fix up fast. The other thing we learned is we need a target man striker. Now, I know that Alexander Lacazette was missing, and he sometimes is our target man. He can hold the ball up. He's very strong in that area. He scored 17 goals last season, so give him his due. But we don't have that big target man. That guy like Ivan Toney, I mean, that can hold the ball up, be a real problem, bring other players in, you know what I mean? You know, I don't know. You saw Ivan Toney was just winning everything, and they were just profiting off of all of the second balls. Who's our guy to do that? We don't have no one like that. Look how many crosses that Kieran Tierney put into the box. Not all of them great, by the way, but he put a lot of crosses in. There was nobody attacking those crosses. No one attacking those crosses at all throughout the game. You need someone who's going to be in there attacking those. If you've got like you know, obviously Chelsea, they've just gone out and bought the top grade in that. But Lukaku, watch him when he plays. He attacks the box. He attacks areas. So when crosses come in, it's not even necessarily going to get a head on it, but he's a problem. He's attacking that. Nobody's attacking it when Arsenal are putting balls into the box. And we really do need a target man. And again, spins back to not being prepared, because we could have went after a target man in Tammy Abraham if we're going to get him, which we may even do. Again, why is it taken so long to sort that out and to get that type of player in? We lack that player. Ever since Giroud left, we've not had that type of player, and it shows. We have no plan B if plan A is not working. And that is something that needs to be addressed. And the lack of a target man is a real problem at Arsenal. And the fifth thing and final thing that I learned, and you know what, I could probably go on to about 10, 20 things that I learned from that game. But the fifth thing that I'm going to give you is that Mikel Arteta is under serious pressure already at Arsenal. Losing the first game, listen, it was always going to be a tough start. You know, Brentford away, newly promoted. We knew what was coming. Well, I knew. I think all the fans knew. It looked like the Arsenal players and the manager didn't know. But we've lost that first game. Chelsea next with Lukaku, right? Remember last year, you know, if they'd have had a Lukaku in and not Timo Werner, how effective they'd be. Look at the team they've got. They're the champions of Europe. And that's who we got next. Champions of Europe next, followed by the champions of England. Those are the next 2 games. Don't have a great record against Man City away. I can't tell you the last time we won there. They always seem to deal with us home and away. And Chelsea, despite the fact that, you know, we've had a decent record against them in recent times, in that friendly we played them in the other day, they took us apart pretty easily, won that game, and they just look prepared. They're in good shape. They've got that winning mentality. You know, they won the Champions League, they won the Super Cup, and they will be chomping at the bit to play Arsenal. Mikel Arteta could be, after 3 games, looking at 3 defeats pretty easily. No points out of a possible 9. That would be an absolute disaster. We must win. We must win against Chelsea, and that's a tall order. He's already under pressure. I heard fans at the game, not you know, vocally saying anything towards Mikel Arteta whilst the game was going on. But towards the end of the game, fans are like, you know what? It's a guy that looks like he hasn't got a clue. What's the plan? What is our pattern of play? What's our style? What's our identity? We can't see it at the moment under Mikel Arteta. He's under a lot of pressure. If he loses those next 2 games, there'll be fans calling for his head. So it's a big next 2 games for Mikel Arteta. Win the next 2, or do well in those, you know, win 1, draw 1, do that. Everything will calm down. Fans will start to say, all right, fair enough. First game, blip. Lots of players were missing. No Lacazette, no Aubameyang, no Partey. We understand. But now we're back up and running. But lose those 2. It's completely opposite way. He's under pressure. He apologized for the performance. But there's only so many apologies you can make. And after the transfers, you know, that we've done so far, it's not been great. I'll tell you what, it's not just him under pressure. Edu as well is under serious pressure. The Cronkies are always under pressure. So it's a big couple of weeks coming up for Mikel Arteta in his job as a manager. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens. So those are the 5 things that I learned. Love to hear from you guys. What were the 5 things you guys learned? You were all getting really involved with all the content yesterday, airing your opinions. Want to hear from you guys. I mean, I saw even the president of Rwanda getting involved. You know, he's one of the sponsors for Arsenal, and even he was unhappy with what he's seeing. So it's not people getting, you know, overexcited or anything like that. It's just that we're seeing the same old stuff and we want it to change. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like it, and don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. We've got some great content for you guys. Check out all of our match content from the Brentford Arsenal game, even though it wasn't pretty. And yeah, those are the things I learned. What did you learn? Things have got to get better. That's the one thing. Thanks for watching.